Good evening, everyone. I am in my kitchen and it is a rainy, overcast day and it's going on sunset, so it's hard to see because we don't really have any light. It's just kind of even light outside. But I am in my kitchen and I am working on dishes and laundry, which is what you hear in the background is the machines, and getting dinner started. And I thought I would go through this week's AZURE pickup because I did not do a huge order this time just because I don't have time. It's May. It's one of our busiest seasons with our business, as well as trying to get the garden in. So I didn't want to have to deal with a lot of putting things away. I actually still have a few things I bought last time that I haven't had time to sort out into jars and, get into their proper places. So I did not do a big order this time. I'm hoping to do a bigger one in June. But I did want to go over a couple things that I did because right now everyone's looking for some food security and starting to wonder where to get things and where to source things. And I am new to AZURE, but I am finding that I like ordering it. And getting some things that are not typically available in the store, like wheat berries that are easier to store, and then you can grind them yourselves when you need the flour. So let's just go through what I did get. Now, first of all, they actually had some things on the truck that they said, here, if you want to buy these are available, so they'll be 30% off. So I did snag a few things. The first one was the white quinoa, which is a 5-pound bag. I am trying to get back into eating quinoa. I've never been a huge fan of it, but I do love like the Panera Power Bowls with the quinoa, and I like the quinoa when it's mixed into salads and things. So I am going to try to make some of my own like Power Bowl style meals with my garden goods this summer. And they also had the Bittersweet mini chocolate chips. So I bought those because we love putting chocolate chips in our zucchini bread. And these are a nice organic, and they're not loaded in sugar because they're the Bittersweet. And then also another bag of the cane sugar, because I actually did order this one on my very first order. So I'm happy to get another 5 pounds at 30% off. So that was what I purchased off the back of the truck. My wash machine is super loud, so hopefully this microphone is combating that. So I just had one box, and I haven't even gone through it actually. I just opened it and was like, oh, I should do this. So one of the things that I went ahead and bought is I am trying to grow my own parsley, because I found that I am using a ton of parsley. And that was one thing that I was trying to analyze over really the last fall, and especially during the pantry challenge, just the things that I use the most. And I found that I was using a ton of parsley. So I started a bunch of parsley, but I've never grown parsley other than just, like one little plant in my herb containers on the porch, just for like, adding some fresh bits. So I've never grown enough to try to preserve and dry to have through the winter. One of the things I used a lot of parsley for is when I'm making my turkey sausage, which my homemade turkey sausage, which I will link, is one of our favorite things now. And since I had a ton of turkey meat, I am continuing to make that. I actually have some cooking on the stove tonight. So I went ahead and bought a really large bag of the dried organic parsley flakes so that I can get started and not have to worry about, getting it straight out of the garden. And we'll see how much I go through, because I can probably guarantee you I will go through this just making turkey sausage in the next, maybe year. It might take me a year, but I use parsley in stews and soups and other things too. So this will at least get me started until I see how well I do with growing and how much I'm able to preserve for this year. So I felt good about getting that. I also went ahead and got the ground black pepper. I ordered some white pepper because I can never find it in the store. But I went ahead and got some black pepper because I use a ton of pepper too. And I've been getting it from Aldi. But when I looked at getting it in bulk and having it available, because I do occasionally run out when I forget to buy a backup, and so I'm gonna like having a jar of this on my shelf. Another thing I did was minced onion, because I am actually out, and although I am ready to harvest my onions in about a month, I wanted to make sure I had a good supply. So, and once I harvest the onions, they need to cure for a little bit, and I don't know if I will have time to get to dehydrating them and everything immediately. So I didn't get a big pack, but I did get a decent size. So I will have that on my shelf. And pretty much the same thing. I have no idea why I have, apparently I ordered 3 garlic powders. I don't remember doing that. But sometimes they have it where it's like 1 pound or 3 pounds. And then when you order it, I noticed that the first time it was just 3 of the 1 pound bags. So that's probably what it was, is I ordered the 3 pound because it was cheaper per ounce to get it that way. And they just sent me 3 of the 1 pound bags. So I have a lot of garlic powder now. So I probably will not actually preserve any of my garlic into powder. I will probably just use it for the canning in oil and the dehydrating it into the flakes like the onion. And then this 3 pounds will probably last me. So that will be good. I won't have to worry about grinding that anytime soon. And next winter I can take some of the dehydrated and grind it down if I need to. But I actually am getting pretty low on garlic, and I've been out of garlic powder for a while, so that's why I ordered that. And then I did the same thing with onion powder. So again, I did the 3 pounds, which came in the 1 pound bags, because it was cheaper to do that way. So I have a ton of this, so I am set on that. I am growing chives this year, but again, because it's my first year really growing more than just like some for fun on my porch planter, I'm actually having it out in the garden. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to grow and preserve. So I went ahead and bought a package of chives, not a huge one. This is 4 ounces of chives. And I don't use a ton of chives, but I do love adding it to soups and stews. So this will get me through until I figure out how well I do with preserving chives. And then the last thing I bought was 4 ounces of dill weed, because I will need this when making pickles out of cucumbers this summer. And we'll use some of the onion and stuff for that as well. So just this time I focused on herbs, and that's kind of what I've been doing with each order, is focusing on a different area of need that I can foresee to having a year's worth of food. And not just of food, but of supplies, so that I can cook with the food that I grow and the food that I preserve. So, like the buttermilk powder that I got the last time, that is going to save me so much, just because I don't have to remember to get buttermilk anytime I want to make biscuits. I have the powder now. Plus it stores and it keeps for a long time, so I'm not wasting a half gallon of buttermilk if I don't make more biscuits and don't use up the buttermilk. So I was thrilled to find that, and this time, focused it on the seasonings that I just use all the time, that I go through to stock my shelves and to be prepared in case my plants that I'm trying to do to grow my own do not do as well as I anticipated. So I'm just trying to be a little bit of ahead, and I think that's a really smart way to go about this, especially if you're new to trying to have, I hesitate to use the word, preps. As farmers, we've just always put by for off season. That's just something I've grown up doing. We didn't consider it prepping. It was just how we lived. We grew in the spring, summer, and fall, and we preserved what we didn't eat fresh for the off seasons. And so that's just, to me, that's just farming. But when you look at that, because we didn't grow everything and now we're trying to be more self-sustaining, we are more in, I guess, a prepper mindset to have some of the things that we don't keep around, like buttermilk powder or a larger stock of herbs and spices than we ever did, because we've been so used to going to the store and just getting what we need to supplement what we've always grown and put away. So focusing each month, or even breaking it down further, and each week get something at the grocery store when you go to keep it from being expensive, because Lord knows that everything's expensive right now. Inflation is through the roof. You go to the grocery store every week and it's more than it was the week before. But focusing on one item or one area of things that you may need if you have not put away before. And you should always have up to 3 months. I know a lot of people say 2 weeks, and if you live in a really small area, maybe 2 weeks is all you have storage for. But 2 to 3 months is, that's what they tell you need in emergency expenses to pay your bills if you lose a job or you get sick or something like that. And I feel the same way about food. You should always have supplies, and it may not be everything that you eat, but enough to get through 2 to 3 months. Even if all you're eating is canned soups and stews, or spaghetti or something like that. So you should start there. And if all you do is go to the store and find a deal on pasta and buy 10 for 10, I don't even know if Food Lion does that anymore, but 10 boxes of pasta for $10, and that's the one thing that you get extra that week, do that. And then the next week, take that $10 and buy some extra flour and sugar. And then the next week, buy some extra seasonings. And, so on, so that it builds over a couple months, and you will be surprised what you can do in a couple months. And the same with buying in bulk. If you go to Costco or Sam's Club or order from AZURE, focus on water this month, or bulk flour, or quinoa, or carrots, whatever it is that you want to make sure you have a store of because you use so much, like parsley and carrots. Those are two things I learned over the winter that I bought and use all the time, and I've never really paid attention to that because it's not something I grew and preserved. So focus on that, make you a list, write it down, and that's a good way to start. But I just wanted to share that with you, because that's kind of what I've been doing as I've been working through how I'm ordering from AZURE and what I'm buying, is seeing where my holes are and where it's cost effective to fill in and get a head start on things that I may not have preserved for the next several months as they grow and I process that out. So I hope this has been helpful. And if you are interested in AZURE, just go to AZURE Standard. I don't have an affiliate link, I don't think. I don't even know what it's called. I think you can share a link. I will go on my account and look and see if, I don't know if you have to spend a certain amount before you get that. But if I do have it, I will put it below in the description. But give them a try. I'm really enjoying it. And I have met so many people at the pickup points. I mean, just wonderful, wonderful people who are gardening and homesteading and selling their items and making contacts. And it's just, I have met so many amazing people just in the past couple months of doing this, and that alone has been worth it, to feel that community around me that I don't always know is around this area. Like, I know there's people here and there, but I don't know them personally. I know one or two. So to get, around 100 people who are unloading this truck, and we're all talking about the same things, and we're all raising chickens, and we're all raising goats and milk cows, and just to feel that camaraderie and that community in what we're doing outside of YouTube and a few personal contacts is a wonderful thing. So look into it for that, if nothing else, into your area for a drop-off point. So anyway, everyone have a great night, and I will see you in the next one.